Stonewall Jackson. The very name summons up images of strength, resilience, and courage under fire. Of all the Confederate generals, Stonewall was the one the Union Army feared the most. Fortunately for Lincoln and friends, Jackson died at Chancellorsville, the victim of friendly fire. Or did he? Skip Tucker is the author of Pale Blue Light, a historical novel about Stonewall Jackson, and he's here to tell me more about it. Skip, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. You were nice enough to bring a copy of the book by. We'll show the folks at home. Pale Blue Light, tell us about the title. Why did you name it that?
It's another nickname, a much lesser known nickname for Jackson. He had pale blue eyes, and when he got ready to go into battle, the adrenaline would flow and his eyes would begin to sparkle and glisten, and they said it was almost like a pale blue light came from his eyes.
He was ready to go fight.
He was ready to go fight, and he made sure everybody else was.
There you go. Now, this is, it's a novel, it's fiction, but it's historically based, and you explore what I'm guessing is a question that probably isn't very popular, that what happened to Stonewall Jackson was not an accident. It was part of a nefarious scheme. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, it's a very, very tiny but very, very real possibility. Jackson may have been intentionally shot rather than dying by my favorite oxymoron, friendly fire. But in my reading, and Jackson's a particular hero of mine, and yes, the book is historically accurate to detail, but it is alternative fiction to a degree because I explore the possibility that Jackson may have been intentionally shot, and my guy kind of goes after those that he feels are responsible. So it's a thrill ride. I tried to make sure it wasn't your daddy's dry history book,
Right.
But it's and basically it's a spy thriller set within the Civil War.
So a little bit spy thriller, a little bit conspiracy theory, and maybe a little bit murder mystery as well.
It's a murder mystery. Don Noble, who was one of the good reviewers, really liked the book and said this book has a little of everything, and I tried to make it so. And it's historically accurate. It's a love story. It's and my guy, well, one of the reviewers that my favorite review said, I like this protagonist, but I didn't know he was going to turn into James Bond.
Oh, wow.
And he kind of does. So.
Right. The James Bond of the antebellum period.
He's debonair, and he's suave, and he's lethal, and he's a ladies' man, and he goes. He has a lot of adventures along the way.
And that's a good time to have adventures, too. We were talking during the break, and a lot of people don't realize it. Technology was changing so rapidly during this period. On the cover here, you've got a hot air balloon. I didn't realize that they were being utilized during the time of the Civil War, but we talked about submarines, Gatling guns, repeating rifles. There was a lot happening during this period that was fresh and new, and people didn't totally understand how it worked or the effect it would have on society.
It was the first modern war, and everybody realized it, the observers who came over to watch the war, and they were from England, they were from all over the globe, because they realized that this war was going to escalate man's ability to kill another man or another human to a degree that had been unthought of up till then. So there were landmines, there were tanks, there were hand grenades, there was everything but nuclear fission.
And it kind of made the horses and the bayonets a bygone era, really.
Well, the problem, Danny, was that they fought the war with modern weapons, but with ancient tactics.
Right.
And nothing can be more lethal for a human. A cavalry charge that had been so deadly turned into suicide on a mass scale.
And that's what happened at Gettysburg. And at Chancellorsville, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Throughout the war.
Skip, it sounds like a great book. Thank you so much for being with us
Thank
today.
you so much. I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
You can find out more about Pale Blue Light by calling 334-834-3556 or online at newsouthbooks.com/palebluelight.